it's another edition of Talkin' Track right here, presented by our friends at My Racehorse, a production of the Big Play Sports Network as well. He is Ryan Stillman. I am Matt Fontan, and a lot to cover on this week's edition of the show. We still have points races coming up. We'll get into some Kentucky Derby already. Still plenty of races coming up. Another edition of Naming a Racehorse, which I'm excited. We had a great time with that last time. And we got some free picks again. Ryan's going to run through some races coming up and some of the horses that he really likes into that. But Ryan, we talked last week's show about it's so far off from the Kentucky Derby, you don't think about it. I'm here in Cleveland, it's snowy and it's cold, but there's still a lot of races going on and a lot of big points races to get on that Triple Crown trail coming up. So we're not thinking, we're not to the Kentucky Derby in any stretch of the imagination, but there's still really important races coming up for it.
Oh, you couldn't have said it any better, Matt. And you know what? It's super exciting because last week we had the Remsen, and actually, there's been a change on my top 12 Kentucky Derby list. And so, Ryan, why don't you cue in with the song for the beginning of this?
There's 4 new Derby horses you missed. Which one wound up on Ryan's list?
Oh, I like the jazz. I love it. So 4, Ryan. This was not like one, maybe slid out or whatever. You got 4 changes on your Derby list. Very interesting.
Well, let's slow down for a second there.
Right.
Only 1 change on the list.
Okay.
But there were 4 that were worthy of making the list. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna play this just like we did last week.
Okay.
And keep it with the idea
right.
that the best name can win the Derby.
Sure.
Let's see if Matt can guess who is the horse on my list based on these 4 names. So here were the 4 impressive horses from last week, Matt.
All right. Donut God just speaks to me because that could be me. Aviator Guy, Kale's Angel, and Poster. All right, I want to go Donut God. And when I say that, doesn't everybody not think of their favorite donut? Sprinkle is my answer, by the way. Ryan, favorite donut, quick.
Oh, I would go Sprinkles too. So
Yeah.
we're soul brothers on that.
I like it. I'm going to say Poster. I don't know why. Poster is the answer that I'm going to say that got up on your Derby list there. Am I right?
Oh my gosh, throw the list up, Ryan. Let's see my new rankings.
Yeah, nice. Poster right there on 12. Love it. Nice.
This is incredible. I just out of curiosity, you were reaching Donut God, you wound up Poster. What was it?
If you eat a lot of donuts, you get fat, and you wouldn't be able to win the Kentucky Derby, Ryan. So that's honestly, I was like, Donut God, I'm sure it's a nice horse. I'm sure it's a great horse, but I wouldn't think somebody who eats a lot of donuts has a good chance to win. I don't know why Poster, I thought about winning the Kentucky Derby, and you'd be on a poster. Somebody would go buy posters with, so that's why I went with that one.
Well, that was incredible. You were 100% correct. Poster won last week. He's undefeated. He won the Remsen. He was our second choice when I gave out picks. He had the best jockey in the nation, Flavian Pratt on him. He did fantastic. I'm putting him up here. Now, this is what's crazy, Matt, about racing. This horse won. I don't know if he's a Derby horse. I just know, without a doubt, he's a nice horse. When you're undefeated on 2 surfaces and you win a Remsen Stakes, I think you deserve to be on this list. The horse who came in second that day, Aviator Guy, he was nice. I think maybe going forward, that's the horse you might want, but I can't give it to him based on resume. Donut God was nice, and this horse named Kale's Angel that made that list too. He's a horse. I don't know how far he wants to go, but all 4 of those were impressive. But yeah, we're going to say goodbye to Ferocious. We're going to add in Poster. He's earned his way there. And I'm just blown away. It's like you were meant to pick horses right now because that was extraordinary. I thought you were going Donut God all the way.
I wanted to. Now, Ryan, tell everybody kind of as you talk about these rankings and as we get ready to go when we're so far away. That's why I love doing this because it can, like you said, change week to week. And is Poster actually going to be there at the end of it? But they deserve the credit right now. And it's, to kind of equate it to other sports, it's you're watching a lot of tape on college prospects, right? As the NFL draft is coming around the corner, things can change week to week. They have a really good week. They have really good tape out there, and they might ascend. They might kind of fall back. But just kind of tell everybody, as you think about your rankings, that does have a lot to do with just the really strong week and the strong races that Poster has had.
Yeah, you couldn't have said it any better. That's an incredible analysis and comparison. And here's the thing with horses right now, right? Right now, they're really like, I don't even know, they're middle school level, right? So the Derby, by the time they age there, they're high school, college. And you know the difference between an athlete in middle school and an athlete in high school or college. It's just night and day. So it's very hard. You almost are keeping one eye on the present and one eye in the future, right? And I like to reward horses who are doing something in the present, like Poster. But if I look down the line into the future, I don't see him as a Kentucky Derby winning horse. So when you see the list at the very top of it, I have Citizen Bull. He's proven to be the champion. And more exciting is the horse in second. Now, this horse, Gaming, he ran second to Citizen Bull in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, which usually determines who the champion 2-year-old's going to be, which makes them the Kentucky Derby future favorite, usually. And I think he could be even better than my number one. He's running this week. So later on in the show, we're going to get to see what he's running in, what I think of him. And I'm not going to guarantee he's my pick in the race he's running in. So you're going to have to stay tuned for that, man.
We will get some free picks coming up for a couple of races. But coming up next, you sat down with Aaron Halterman of My Racing Dudes. There were 3 big races out there in New York, and some Kentucky Derby Oaks horses potentials were there. And Ryan sat down with Aaron to discuss all those races. And here's their talk.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to our special dissection of the races from last week with Aaron Halterman of the Racing Dudes. Aaron, last week was crazy, and I thought we would break down the 3 biggest with you today on the show.
Yep, sounds good. It was another big week, and I think we can kind of, take a lot from these last 3. So let's do it.
Okay, first up to bat, we have the 1 1/8 mile Remington Stakes for the Derby horses for next year. And the horse to watch is the 3 Poster, who goes on to win this. Aaron, take it away.
Yeah, so this race is at 1 1/8 like Ryan just said, and this is the longest these horses have run so far. Now, the Derby is 1 1/4 miles, so you're getting close, and it's pretty early in the season for them to do it. So you're going to watch the number 3 Poster, and right away you're going to go, well, where in the hell is he? He's way back in the back. So Flavien Prat was on this horse, the best rider in North America. He drops this horse right to the back, right off the bat. So you kind of see him there. He's starting to maybe try to get past one horse there as he's on the inside rail, and just getting him nice and relaxed, letting those horses go early. And it's kind of a tactic where I think Flavien Prat thought, okay, we're all going 1 1/8 miles for the first time. I'll let those horses get in front of me and kind of get tired, and then I'll make a big run, which he's going to do here in just a minute.
It was interesting. This was Poster's first time on dirt, so a lot of people weren't sure what to make of him. And I think the only reason he was taking as much money as he did was because people thought it's got the best rider on him. Yeah. We really need to take Flavien serious. But at this minute, I had picked Key Waden, and I didn't feel terrible, Aaron, until, I don't know, right around here, I started to get very nervous. I thought he was exactly where I wanted to see him, though.
Yeah, Key Waden, the 5 horse, doesn't really start to move. And then you see Poster, you pick him up, he's on the blue silks out here on the outside. This was a money move, man. He was making a strong move. And at this point, I kind of said to myself, we may see something really special. Here he goes. He takes the lead. He's on the outside. And right here, I'm like, wow, he may win this by 5 or 6, and he's going to be the talk of the racing world. Then the wheels start to spin a little bit. You'll see the number 2, that's Aviator Guy. He's not exactly running that fast. It's just he looks like he's closing fast because Poster's really slowing down. Look at Flavien really having to urge him. Give him credit. He holds on, just by a narrow margin there, Ryan. But you definitely saw on the turn there, you saw Poster do what really good racehorses do, make a huge move and really take charge. Now, did he kind of just get lazy in the lane because he's kind of a younger horse and he didn't really quite know how to finish? Or did he get really tired because he went long? Or maybe he's just not a finisher like that. Maybe he's a one big move and that's it. There's a lot of things that you could take from it. We won't really know until we go down the road. He made a move that is very strong. And then there you saw it right there. Boom. And then again, at this point in the race, I'm like, okay, he's up 5 or he's going to win by 5, I should say. And then, like I said, he just kind of idles a little bit. So I was not overly impressed with the performance because of what happened here in the stretch.
I completely understand, Aaron, and it's very interesting because Chad Brown with this second place horse, again, I feel like he lost by a nose, which is crazy because he had that happen with Sierra Leone last year, right? So it's just got to be heartbreaking for him.
And with this horse for Chad Brown this year, he got in a lot of trouble in this race. He did not have a real clean running. Still probably if he was the best horse of the race, maybe he still could have got up and got the job done. He had some opportunities, but he had a lot of trouble in this race as well. So I'm not so sure if he may have been the best horse in the race and just, got second. You kind of see him bumping with horses there, the 2 horse, and then he finally kind of gets out. He did have his opportunities, but yeah, he may be the best out of this group. Kind of like Sierra Leone, like you said, he finished second here last year and he ended up being the best out of the group as well.
Interesting to note, this was the second fastest running of the Remsen in the last 12 years, the only time faster was Dornock's win last year. And I find that just crazy because of what you said, Aaron. I've got to feel like a lot of people aren't going to want one of these horses as their Derby pick coming out of this, but worth noting. And I think Poster's a nice horse. I don't know if he's going to want to go the Derby distance or what he is, but I do think he's nice. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think so. And you're right. He may be better shortening up a little bit. We'll kind of see what happens there. It's funny you mentioned time. I'll mention two things about the final time of the race. What you said is accurate, but however, we kind of measure things with speed figures in racing because sometimes tracks can play really fast, and the times, not that they're irrelevant, but they kind of become skewed. The Beyer speed figure was an 84 that was assigned for Poster. That's not that great. It's not horrible at this point in the season, but it's not great. He's going to have to improve quite a bit. That number puts him mid-pack at best right now.
Well put. And I think with that, let's move on to the ladies. All right, Aaron, we're going to be watching the Demoiselle Stakes for fillies. These are the next year's Oaks horses. And why don't you take it away as they burst out of the gate here?
Yeah, here we go. So we'll come out of the gate here and look at the number 1, Muhima. That's who wins the race. She broke a little bit flat-footed, but then recovers, gets right to the lead. Now, important to note, these are the fillies going 1 1/8, and these are the horses that are, going towards the Kentucky Oaks, which is the Friday before the Kentucky Derby. And so we got the same distance as the boys. And we'll compare times once it's over. I don't want to spoil it, but that's kind of a real good comparison that we have 2 races at the same distance for opposite, fillies and colts. So it's kind of interesting to compare. But Muhima takes charge. And so the exact opposite of Poster, Muhima takes charge, gets to the front, and starts cruising early in this race. And really about, a little bit further down the line here, I thought they're not going to catch Muhima. Because when a horse of her quality gets out to a lead and is not contested, it's really hard to catch her or catch them. And in this case, catch her. And look how she just kind of, the two, Liam in the dust, she just kind of starts to put this horse away a little bit. And if you've got Muhima bet in any kind of way, you're feeling great as we hit the top of the stretch or hit the top of this turn here. And I mean, this is what she was supposed to do. She was 2-5. But I was really impressed how she did it because she was running stretching out to 1 1/8. This is the farthest she's ever been as well.
I think what really strikes me, Aaron, is she looks massive. And if you didn't know anything about racing, you would just say, this is a beautiful horse and clearly a talented horse. Even as this other horse comes up to her, Ballerina d'Oro, you just kind of, I don't know, watching it live, I never felt she was going to lose this.
And Ballerina d'Oro is making a huge run, and she runs huge, and she's really, really trying. But you're right. You never really felt like she was going to get there. And you're right. Muhima, we watched the boys earlier. Muhima's bigger than the boys. I mean, Muhima is a big gray horse, really well-bred horse, trained by Brad Cox, very good trainer. So I mentioned, when we were watching it, the timing of the race would be interesting. The girls ran a half second faster than the boys, and that's significant. And so I was talking about Beyer speed figures. Muhima was assigned a 90 Beyer speed figure for this race. Very solid. And even the second place horse, Ballerina d'Oro, was assigned an 88 Beyer speed figure. So theoretically, those 2 horses ran better than the boys. So this is really one to keep an eye on now for Brad Cox. 3 straight wins, stretches out in distance for the first time, gets the job done.
Aaron, Brad Cox is loaded unlike anything I can remember for the Kentucky Oaks. He has 3 potential superstars. This is one of them. He also has good cheer, and he has the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies winner. I just wondered if out of those 3, there's one you prefer.
Well, I think it's hard to separate them right now, but I think you do have to go with the horse that has won the biggest race, and the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies winner, Immersive, has won that race, right? So I think right now you have to, kind of say she's number 1. I would put Muhima 2, and then I would put Good Cheer 3, but don't hold me to that. They're all going to kind of develop, and that could really change, but that's kind of how I see it right now. And it's oddly enough, Muhima is like, a goddess, how she looks on the track. Good Cheer is a tiny, tiny little horse, but boy, does she have a big heart. And sometimes that means a lot more than how they look. So it is kind of funny, the difference between those 2, and they're both really special in their own ways. So, but yeah, I'll go Immersive, I'll go Muhima, and Good Cheer in a question that is really difficult to separate them right now.
So now we're going to switch over to the 3-year-olds who are going to be next year's older horses. There's older horses in here as well, but one 3-year-old particularly to watch is Locked, running in the Cigar Mile. Aaron, take it away.
Yeah, this was actually the biggest race of the weekend, the Cigar Mile. It's a very prestigious race. It's downgraded to a grade 2, but I still think it's one of the better races, especially in the winter. So we're going to look at the number 7 Locked. That's the horse that's going to win this race. You see kind of, what's he in? About 4th right now. That's kind of what he likes to do. He's a horse that kind of likes to sit mid-pack. He's not real fast early. He kind of just watches it unfold. And you kind of see a couple horses have passed him now as he's, 3rd or 4th to last there. But he's in a really good spot. He's really comfortable. And again, just like you saw Poster in the rims and really relaxed, just kind of waiting for the jockey's cue. Oddly enough, Ryan, Locked was a horse that I think would have been a really strong contender for the Kentucky Derby this year. He got hurt and he missed it all, but here he is back. This is his 2nd race since the injury, and boy, he looks awfully good.
Yeah, and I have to imagine, Aaron, that next year this could be a very serious horse as we come to the top of the stretch, the aqueduct stretch in a second here. Yep. I think it's really worth noting. I mean, he's only raced once before this entire year, I think, Aaron. It's pretty astonishing. He's taking on a very class field here, and look at him go.
Yeah, and this is the 5-horse Mulligan, who was 3rd in the Breeders' Cup Sprint and had been fantastic all season long. I think Mulligan's going to win here at some point, and then boom, right here, it's like Locked finds another gear. And listen, Mulligan, the 5 who ends up getting 2nd here, he's not like this world-class horse that is impossible to beat, but he's very good. And for a horse like Locked, who was coming off the one race all year, coming off an injury, which was last time out with a nice allowance win, which is an easier race, just kind of a prep race, for him to be able to catch Mulligan when Mulligan runs a pretty strong race and to do it pretty easily is really impressive. And I really think the sky is the limit for Locked. You mentioned this could be a big horse in 2025 to keep an eye out on. The first major race for older horses in 2025 is the Pegasus World Cup, and it was announced today that Locked will be pointing for that race. And so when you see this again, they were just going a mile here, and you saw at the wire, he's starting to hit his best stride. I think the next race, the Pegasus World Cup, is a 1 1/8 miles. I think that's going to even be better for this horse. Look out. He's really talented. And again, look at him just stride away from Mulligan. That is so impressive for this horse to do that at a mile.
Aaron, thank you so much for coming on today and dissecting these races with us. It was a pretty exciting weekend, but we've got a lot more to dissect coming up next week. We hope to have you on again, and we really appreciate your insights and thoughts, my man.
All right. Thanks for having me on. And yeah, anytime, I'll be ready for you.
All right, great stuff there with Aaron Halterman of Racing Dudes, recapping some big wins and some big races out there on the New York side of things. Talking track, he's Ryan Stillman. I am Matt Fontana. It's back again, Ryan. Let's play a little What the Bleep.
It's time to play What the Did That Horseman Say?
So we got our introduction to it last week. Ryan has cultivated some clips of some people around horse racing. It is my job to understand or pick what that person said. I was solid, I think about 75% last week, so I'm going to shoot to be better today, Ryan, on this edition of it. So it's time for What the Bleep. And this guy, I do know who the person is this week that we're doing. Tell everybody who it is.
Well, let's throw up a picture here. This is our What the Bleep featured trainer of the week, Mr. Lukas here. I love that you know him. What do you know him from in particular, Matt? What springs to mind for you?
So obviously through my racehorse and Big Play and Ken Miles, who's a big part of it, Improbable Luck. So that's a horse that I'm in on with my racehorse, and we'll tell you a lot more about the great people at my racehorse and your opportunity. Everybody out there can get to know Dwayne Lukas. I just hear a lot because he trains a lot of the horses that Ken has, and then he's obviously overseeing some things with Improbable Luck. We know about Seize the Gray, so I've got, but I don't know if it's going to help me because the only thing I really kind of know is secondhand of what I've heard about Dwayne Lukas. I've never actually talking to him. I've heard him speak, but I do know of him. So I don't know if that's going to help me in today's game or not. We'll find out.
This is fantastic. So let me tell you a few things you might not know about him then. This guy could be, there's like an easy case to be made that this is the greatest trainer that ever lived. He has won everything you can dream of. He won 4 Kentucky Derbies. He won the Preakness Stakes this year with the People's Horse, Seize the Gray, as you mentioned. Like you said, he trains our horse Improbable Luck over here. But crazy statistic on this guy, right? Or crazy just like fact to know about him, okay? From 1994 to 1996, he won 6 consecutive Triple Crown races.
Wow.
He literally did, dude. So Preakness, Belmont, Derby, Preakness, Belmont, Derby. He won all of those in a row. He literally won the Triple Crown with 2 different horses in 1995. I mean, this guy is as good of a guy who has ever trained a horse. And even more incredible are the people he's trained. Like Todd Pletcher was an assistant trainer of him, and Todd's like the best trainer of his generation, arguably. So look, I think it's time you get to know him better. What does the greatest trainer of all time do? Play clip number 1. Let's see if we can learn a thing or two from him.
Secret of training for me is to be able to read the horse in front of you, to know what he needs, what he doesn't need, when to push, when to pull, when to off.
Oh, okay. So when to push, pull, and I would assume back off would be the word there. To pull him back. I mean, I'm going to go with back off as my final answer for what the bleep number 1.
Lock it in.
The secret of training for me is to be able to read the horse in front of you, to know what he needs, what he doesn't need, when to push, when to pull, when to back off.
Nice. Nice little start.
Incredible.
Nice little start, 1 for 1. And I think on that clip, I mean, obviously, Ryan, Dwayne will be able to tell us better, but you know as well, like the reading of the horses to understand what they need. It's not that simple of just go out there and run a lot. It's that, I think, what creates great trainers like Dwayne Lukas.
Absolutely. And one of the cool things about him is he hasn't just put incredible horses out there. He's put incredible trainers out there. Like I said, Todd Pletcher. He's got a list of people. You could make like one of those big trees, bro, that like traces from him down to all of the great trainers that he has produced. So this next clip, let's find out what went into finding those great assistant trainers.
I say this about those assistants. So we were very careful on who we hired and who we didn't. My son and I were close partners, and we were very careful of who we hired, and we them pretty good.
I'm gonna say they vetted them really well to make sure they knew their background before they'd bring them on. Vetted, Ryan, lock it in.
Let me say this about those assistants. So we were very careful on who we hired and who we didn't. My son and I were close partners, and we were very careful of who we hired, and we screened them pretty good.
Close. Screen vetted, same thing.
I'm giving it to you. Like, there's a world of words. You had the right idea. Fantastic job there.
Well, and I can't only imagine, Ryan, that Dwayne would get a lot of applications, for people that would want to learn from one of the best to ever do it. So I think that's a great insight to just how hard it is to get into that, but also to learn from one of the best.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, let's talk about last year he won the Preakness. So what does it take to win a Preakness? Let's discuss that in this clip.
You say there is a key to getting a horse ready for the Preakness?
Your horse. You have to your horse.
Run was the first word that I thought. Run was the first one. You got to run your horse. I'll go run. I'm going to lock in run.
Do you say there is a key to getting a horse ready for the Preakness?
Know your horse. You have to read your horse.
Know and read. I thought it was going to be wrong. But I mean, that's coming back to a lot of just, again, what I hear from Dwayne and through Ken and all that, the understanding of what that horse needs and knowing what they need to get ready. Also, to talk about peaking for that race. We hear in the Olympics, right? People train for 4 years, but if you're not on that one day, it's not going to matter what you do for 4 years. Horse training and the horsemanship here has got to even be more of that, Ryan, because you're going to try to get this animal to peak and be right on that particular day.
You couldn't have put that any better. And here's another interesting thing about Lukas. He's not ashamed to admit he loves being part of the big races, right? Like he lives for the Kentucky Derby, the Preakness, the Belmont, the Breeders' Cup. So, this next clip has to do with how it makes you feel when you're in those races.
It's a great week. Happy Derby.
Yeah, it's that one dream that everybody's chasing really comes full cycle this week. And you can't avoid the way that it you up.
I'm going to say I want to say jacks you up. Like it's an excitement thing, right? Like he's so excited. So I'm going to say the way that it jacks you up. I'm going to say that's what I'm going to go with here.
Let's hear it.
This is a great week. Happy Derby.
Yeah, it's that one dream that everybody's chasing really comes full cycle this week, and you can't avoid the way that it picks you up.
Picks, yeah.
You got it. You got it. That's the same thing.
And
all right.
Real quick on that, Ryan, to like hear somebody who's done this all so much to still be that excited about the Derby. Like I get it. It's their Super Bowl. It's huge, but that's got to be an exciting day for Dwayne for sure.
Absolutely. I think you know, it's one of these things they say that like once you win a Derby, it's not like you're like, oh, I'm satisfied. Yeah. Everyone who's won a Derby, they'll tell you the same thing. You want to go do it again. So yeah, I mean, he's still chasing it at 88, and with Lukas, you can never count him out. Mm-hmm. He's still got incredible horses, and look, he just did it this year again with the Preakness. He's been counted out again and again and again. If Lukas continues to live long and train, he'll win another Derby. So that's what's exciting. All right, let's see. You're doing fantastic. Let's play our last clip. See if you can just shut this out because you're doing amazing.
That's one thing that we picked up on any of these guys that went along with our program is that they bought into the part.
Bought into, I want to say like training, but I don't know why I want to say Derby. Bought into the Derby part of it, I think is what I'm going to say. That's going to be my final answer. All right, see if I got it.
That's one thing that we picked up on any of these guys that went along with our program is that they bought into the detail part.
I heard the D part. I thought it was going to be Derby, but detailed part. And again, the proof is in the pudding here with Dwayne Lukas. Like, this is how we do things. This is how it works. And I'm sure it comes down to those very finite details for sure.
Absolutely. Look, that was a fantastic guess. You're fantastic at this, especially, you know, you were close with the D, like you said. So fantastic work, Matt. And that's Dwayne Lukas for you. And I think, look, speaking of Lukas, when I think of Lukas, I think of making money. Because if you're with Lukas, you're probably going to make your money back. And what do you think, Matt? We try to make some people at home some money, right?
Absolutely. We got some races coming up, and one that is a little bit of a tie there to Dwayne Lukas. And tell everybody, Ryan, about some of the races coming up as well, but a particular horse called Caldera.
Yes. So my racehorse is killing it this year. They had the Preakness winner. They had a Breeders' Cup win with Straight No Chaser. And there's a big time race on Friday for my racehorse that they have a great shot to win. And I have been hearing so many incredible things about the horse in this race, Caldera. So Lukas is saying this horse is his next Seize the Gray. Now the rumor, Matt, is this horse's stride is longer than Secretariat's.
Probably a good thing.
Yeah, right? I mean, he is possibly a horse who could make a lot of noise on the Derby trail this year. He could even make a lot of noise in the Derby. And so he lost his first race. Guess who else lost their first race? Secretariat, American Pharaoh. The list goes on and on. Heck, if we're talking football, didn't Peyton Manning just like have a horrible game?
Horrible rookie year, yeah. Bad rookie year, yeah.
So, I mean, that happened. You look, with Lukas, you're not known for winning first time out. That's not his game plan. So Caldera is making his second start Friday, December 13th at Oaklawn Park. Let's take a look at this field. So, Matt, this is a very exciting race. I say that because this is a maiden race, meaning none of these horses have won before, but I think something really exciting could come out of it. I think one of these horses could turn into a horse you need to watch during the Derby. So let's start with the number 3, Caldera. He gets more ground here, which is better for him. I think of all the horses in this field, Caldera has the most upside. He's got Keith Asmussen riding. I think that's a good sign. I think on numbers, this horse is the second best. However, he's got the biggest margin to improve, all right? So all positives there. So who has the biggest numbers? The number 5, Spurgeon. Like a Spurgeon. This guy, I don't even know what a Spurgeon is, but what I do know is he's been running long before, and that can help him in this spot, right? He has pretty good figures. His trainer, Kenny McPeak, he won the Derby this year, Matt. I always respect him. I just never know if his horses are going to show up and win or how they're going to do. So I respect him. He seems like the one, if you're just going off numbers, to beat. The number 6, Stiglitz, his last race was on turf. His numbers stack up. I respect him here. On turf, he has the best time form number. That gives him a chance here, but I don't know how he translates that to dirt. So I feel that same way about number 7, Authentic Gallop. Like if this was on turf, I liked him a lot more than I do on dirt, numbers wise. And then you have number 2, Original Sin for Brad Cox, who's an interesting horse. He didn't do much running last time out, so I do expect him to improve here. So those are the horses that stuck out to me, and here's how I'm going to bet this. Number 3, Caldera, over number 5, Spurgeon, over the 6, Stiglitz, and I'll use number 7, Authentic Gallop in 4th. So 3, 5, 6, 7. That's how I'm going. I expect Caldera to do incredible in this race, hopefully to either come in second or win, but I'm picking him to win, and I think you might be in for a real treat and see something special here.
And again, that'll be the second race, Friday the 13th at Oaklawn Park. So again, we're getting this out as fast as we can. Check that out to get your picks in. But Ryan, we'll also have some other races coming down, some points races left for the Kentucky Derby as we're starting to wind down 2024, but there's still some really vital races, and it's funny because we talked about them last week, but now we're starting to tick some of them off as they're right here on the horizon.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's what's funny about those races coming up. Caldera is going to be running in the afternoon on Friday, and the horse that beat Caldera is going to be running at Remington Park in the Remington Springboard Mile later that night. So yeah, these are the points races remaining for the Kentucky Derby this year. Last week we covered the Remsen. This week there are 2 more: the Springboard Mile, the Los Alamitos Futurity. And let's start with the Springboard Mile, where the horse, like I said, who beat Caldera is making his return to the races. It takes place Friday, December 13th at Remington Park. So looking at the Remington Park Mile, this is an interesting race. So I think some races are kind of easy to handicap. This is a complete nightmare. It's wide open. It's a cluster. I think you can go a lot of different ways here, but the number 3 Speed King is the horse who beat Caldera last time out, and he was super impressive in his win. I loved what I saw, and as far as the numbers go, I think this is the horse to beat here. The trainers, his kind of horses, Ron Moquette, they tend to be horses that are good to watch early in the season, but I don't know about them going forward being classic winners. But right now is the kind of time where you really want to be betting his horses. So I think he's a serious contender here. If he shows up with that effort again, like he did when he beat Caldera, I think he's easily the horse to beat. The other horses that stuck out to me, number 4, Dominant Spirit, he has a chance. He lost to another horse in this field last time, Jolly Samurai, in his last start. I'd say he has a chance. He's interesting. Jolly Samurai, he's undefeated. I think people are going to like him. Is he good enough? That's the question, Matt. I don't know. He's the hometown hero horse, right? He's the best horse at Remington Park. But now he's going to be facing out-of-towners, so that can go either way, but he has some respect. Number 8, Complex Music. He's a very impressive start last time out. Look, super good performance. He won by 8 in his last race. Not sure he can do what he did last time here, though. I don't know if that was an apparition. If it wasn't, he's serious here, and you have to take him that way. I think if you're just looking like, who do I bet here, that might be a little better of a price. Complex Music, someone you would take serious. He's good enough to compete if he shows up that way. Dr. Ruben M. He was a winner at this distance last time out at Santa Anita. He's the number 9. He lost his first start on turf. Then he lost 2 straight races on the dirt, okay? But he was running against some really nice Bob Baffert horses, so no shame in losing to Baffert's horses, especially when we're talking about Derby trails. So he won his last start. It was the best number on time form in this race. So I think you have to take this horse seriously. And then you've got number 11, Mr. Omaha. He's a nice Oklahoma bred, but he's got like a Kentucky kind of breeding in him. He's got Into Mischief in him, Omaha Beach. He won at this distance last time out by 5. I don't like his post. I give him a chance. So where do I go here? This is tough. I think if you're looking for a horse who could be a potential big horse down the road, number 3 Speed King's the guy you're going to want to look for. I think he absolutely has a chance to win here. I'm going to go with him. He beat Caldera last time out. I'm going to give him respect. Speed King number 3 is my pick. I'm going to pick in second. I'm going to stick with number 9, Dr. Ruben M. I think he's a solid horse. I think he's the one to possibly beat here. I just don't know exactly if he's a super promising horse or not. I don't know what to do with him, but I'm going to place him in number 2 for now and let him just sort of be the bar and think that Speed King can climb that bar. And I think number 8, Complex Music's who I'm going to pick in third here. I like him. I think Complex Music is a horse who flashed a lot of talent. Maybe he surprises here and jumps up and takes this field and beats him. So we're going to do number 3 over number 9 over number 8. That's my trifecta. Lock it in. And with that, let's cover the big race of the day, the Los Alamitos Futurity. They're all big, but this one's particularly exciting because this race features number 1, Gaming, who has finished second in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile recently. Look, I like this horse. He has the best jockey on him. Last week we saw in the Remsen, Flavian Pratt was sitting on Poster. He won. Here he is sitting on Gaming. And when he comes into town to ride for Bob Baffert, you just pretty much know this is the horse you have to take most serious, in my opinion. He looks like the best horse in this race. So let me give you guys some inside information. Prior to the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, I know turf riders. I know people that know people in the barn. Just hearing the rumors. Now, rumors are rumors, but man, there were people, and the feeling I was getting was this was the single best horse on the West Coast. That this was a horse you got to watch out for. And so what happens? He goes to the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. He's expected to be Bob Baffert's big horse. He loses to Citizen Bull. Now, Citizen Bull had raced once already around 2 turns. He'd had 2-turn experience. Gaming coming into the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, which is around 2 turns, he had never raced around 2 turns. So yes, he lost in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile to a horse who'd run 2 turns before in Citizen Bull, but you really have to think that might have been what cost him the race. It might not have. I give Citizen Bull a lot of chances to prove me wrong. I love him. He's number 1 on my list, but I think you really start to improve as a racehorse the more times you go around 2 turns, the better you get at it. So I expect him to do even better here than he did in the Juvenile, and that should be good enough to win. However, there's a horse number 2 here, Getaway Car, and I think this horse is a logical second. Some people may toss this horse out because as a win contender, he seems so vastly outmatched by Gaming. He was 4th in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. He wasn't really that close to Gaming whenever they've met. But look, here's the thing that he has going for him. He's a horse who can get out there loose on the lead and just keep going. And we've seen this before where Bob Baffert has two horse in here. He has 3, I'm aware. But if I'm looking at possibly the 2 to beat, it's these 2. And sometimes the other Baffert wins. So if you want to get cute here and say, how do I make some money not betting Gaming? Getaway Car makes some sense to me. Number 4, Rank. I think this is a nice horse. I just don't think this is where he gets the job done. I respect him though, so he figures in here. But I look for him in some race to win. Just keep an eye on him is all I'm saying. He's here. I just don't give him tons of chance. Number 5, Journalism. I think this could be a nice horse. Let's get some inside info here. I have heard behind the scenes from connections that they really like this horse. Now, what does that mean? Everybody really likes their horse, but I think that this is a horse you do have to keep an eye on if we're talking about looking for horses that could make some noise on the Kentucky Derby Trail. So let's see how he does here. If you're looking in this race to be like, I hate Bob Baffert, I'm not betting his horses, I need to pick someone else, Journalism's the one to go with. So those are the scenarios basically I can lay out for how to make some money here. But ultimately, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go with number 1, Gaming to win. Over number 2, Getaway Car. Over number 5, Journalism. Over number 4, Rank. So 1, 2, 5, 4. I've given you guys the scenarios if you're looking to get cute and try to make some money different ways. But ultimately, Gaming looks too tough. I think he gets it done. But look, if you're trying to get smart here, good luck to you because it's racing. Anything can happen. No one's a lock. So there you go. You guys hopefully have all the inside knowledge you need to make some money this weekend on the big races.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Again, 2 days worth of it, some big races, and a lot of ties to My Racehorse, which will tell you about some of the horses up available in a little bit. And one of those is Spanx a Million. And it's so cool, Ryan, because we tell you so much about our friends at My Racehorse we love, and this is so great. I'm involved with it. I'm a part owner of Improbable Luck. But anybody out there can go to myracehorse.com. You can download the app, and you can go on there and find racehorses that you can buy a share of. And one of them, I'm looking at it right here, Ryan, if I want to, Spanx a Million 23, because he doesn't have the name yet. You're able to get on there and get a potential part of this horse. So now the cool thing is, right now, the naming is on, right?
Yes, and I own a part of this horse. I'm really excited about this. So I get to if you haven't been involved in My Racehorse, what's really fun is when you buy a horse there, that one of the perks you get is you get a chance to name this horse. You get to submit one name.
That's what I got to do. I was part of the naming process of Improbable, and really it's so cool to do it. And then especially if yours get picked, and I know there's a lot of people that maybe submit the same name. But I just loved it because, being kind of a novice in this ride, there's cool things about look at the mom and the dad, look at the lineage. Like you don't want to come up with a random name. You want to try to find something that fits the heritage and the lineage there. So I had a lot of fun doing it with Improbable Luck. So I'm sure a lot of people are going to do have Spanx 1,022 here.
Well, hold on. You actually submitted. Wasn't your pick, Matt? Am I wrong? Was your pick Improbable Luck? Wasn't that the name you submitted?
It was. That's the one that I submitted. Now, I was not the only one that got submitted, but that was the one. I planted that seed in Ken Miles' head. I did with Improbable Luck. I loved it. Because with Lahaina Luck and Improbable were the two, and I was like, well, this is perfect. I go, this is exactly how it needs to go.
That's right. So you based it on the sire and the dam.
Correct,
and here's the thing. You did it once. Let's see if you can do it again.
All right.
Now, here's the thing. I'm going to let you name my horse, and here's how we're going to do it, though. I basically, everyone I know who knows I own this horse was like, you should name it this, you should name it this. I got inundated with it, and so what happened was I have whittled down all the submissions I got to 10 names that I like the most.
All right, I like it. All right, here we go. And I love you got the lineage ups. I was just looking at Uncle Mo. Everybody should know that horse up there with Uncle Mo. Okay, so buy a nose, Master Flash is pretty funny. All right, okay, Spanky. I do like Spanky. I do love the Mad Max movies. Sparky's Nightmare, Yoppin' Express, Spanky's Delight, Yoppin' Legacy, Spank Bank. I don't know if we should do that one. Probably not a good idea. I'm going to go... I like the two right there in the middle, Spanky and Mad Max. I think those would be my two. I like it. Sparky's Nightmare is a close third for me, but I would go Spanky. I think that'd be my pick there, Ryan, for sure.
We're locking it in.
Like it.
Okay, I am submitting Spanky as the name. Now, this is what's great. We're gonna submit it to the contest. We're gonna see if they pick it. I'm gonna come back to this show when they give us their top four, and we're gonna see if you made the final four. If we made it, I mean, this is exciting. So yeah, look, this is what's great about it. We're not only gonna possibly name this horse. How fun will it be to be watching Spanx 1,022 out there on the track, and we could have seen today the birth of him getting his name. I mean,
love it.
That's as fun as it gets.
I love it. It's really cool because, like, again, they got to check the horse registry name. Like, nobody else can have it. So there's a lot of behind the scenes that you get involved, and that's why My Racehorse is so great. It's for the average people like me where I can get on there. I'm involved in the naming. I'm involved with potential winnings of this horse, and I got to tell you, the My Racehorse people are so great. I get weekly updates. I know exactly where Improbable Luck is. Unfortunately, I had a little bit of a sickness, but he's back. He's healthy. He's all that. The updates, the inside video, all that for the average person to be able to get involved with a potential horse going to the Triple Crown. Not only Spanx 1,023 is there as well, but Perfect Impression up on My Racehorse as well. Blip Says Bye and Malibu Bonnie. And I just want to start right there, Ryan, by saying the trainers on some of these horses. Malibu Bonnie, Dwayne Lukas, we talked about. Blip Says Bye, Bob Baffert. And then a guy we talked a lot about earlier, Kenny McPeak, is on Perfect Impression with that one. So you're able to get pieces of horses that are being trained by some of the best trainers in the world. And then I said, just watching that lineage, I know who Uncle Mo is. So it's all there. My Racehorse is so great. And people can get on the website or download the app and just get 1, 2, 3, 10, however many shares you want to be able to buy these horses. I think it's really cool, and especially on the holiday season. Isn't that a great gift for somebody out there that likes horse racing or maybe wants to get involved? Buy them a share of one of these horses. I love it, and we can't thank My Racehorse enough for it.
Absolutely. And like you just said, I mean, what is cooler than seeing, you essentially getting to own an athlete, right?
Yeah.
Own a piece of it. See there. I mean, that's what we all love, no matter what sport you follow. So we're going to see if we get Spanky out there and if we can become a winner with him. Fingers crossed. But yeah, fantastic stuff here today, dude. I think we helped some people out as well.
Absolutely. I love the picks. We got more coming, so we appreciate everybody that's following at Big Play Horse on Twitter. We're up on the YouTube side of things, and we thank very much everybody at Big Play and My Racehorse for bringing Talkin' Track to you. We'll be back with another edition very soon. He's Ryan Stillman. I'm Matt Fontana. Thanks for watching.